All right, welcome to day 2 of our Article of the Week study on bullying. You should have your article on your desk, your paper article, and a highlighter and a pencil. You know how this works. You are going to be looking for explicit evidence and evidence drawn from inferences today. We're going to do it a little bit differently today. I want you to do the first 4 on your own, and then I'm going to show you the answers, and then we'll do the last 4 together. So what I want you to do is using the directions on the screen in front of you. I'm going to read those to you. I want you to stop the video when I'm done and then go and find the evidence, highlight it, and write the number of the question next to it, okay? So for the first 4, the first piece of evidence, and you can pause in between my reading and go find the evidence and come back. You don't have to listen to all 4 of these at the same time. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to find the sentence that gives the definition of bullying. So go find that, highlight it, and number that number 1 in the text. Pause the video and then come back for the second one. All right. For the second question, I want you to go find 2 sentences that tell what must be present for bullying to occur. Find 2 sentences that tell what must be present for bullying to occur. Pause the video, go highlight those, number them number 2, and come on back. For number 3, I want you to find the sentence that tells how long the effects of bullying can last. Find 1 sentence that tells how long the effects of bullying can last. Pause the video, go find it. And number 4, find the sentence that tells who bullies like to pick on. So go find that sentence. What sentence tells who bullies like to pick on, and number that 4. All right, hopefully you've gone and done that on your own. And I'm going to show you what I found, and you should probably be very similar to what I found. If you need to make changes, you can do that. It's okay to just scratch out or put a little X next to it if you need to move your highlight to a different piece of the article. So for number 1, it says, find the sentence that gives the definition of bullying. And right at the beginning of the article, that first sentence from the American Psychological Association defines bullying. And notice I put a number 1 next to it. That's the first piece of evidence. All right. The second one was find 2 sentences that tell what must be present for bullying to occur. So we need to find 2. And in the second paragraph, it says, first, it must include an imbalance of power. That's 1. And then the second is, the behavior must be repetitive. So I numbered those 2A and 2B to show that those are 2 different sentences, both pieces of evidence. And I want to give a little shout out to Tiaria for giving me that idea. That was brilliant. She's brilliant. Thank you for that. All right, the third one is find the sentence that tells how long the effects of bullying can last. Now, you may have found there's 2 possible answers here. So let me show you both first. So the very bottom of the first page, it says the effects of bullying can last for decades. That definitely shows how long. That would be my first pick. But you could have also highlighted down here in the last paragraph that says bullying targets carry these painful memories for many years and often have trouble overcoming the pain. So that also shows how long. But I like the first one a little bit better because it's a little bit more specific, saying decades. Remember, that's number 3. And then number 4, it says find the evidence that tells who bullies like to pick on. And that's very clear in the article. It's very explicit. That's in the section that says what the bullies say. When asked who they pick on, some responses were kids, annoying kids, kids who cry easily, wimpy kids, and tattletales. We're going to label that number 4. Now we're going to do the second half together because these are a little bit harder and they're inferential kinds of questions where you have to use clues from the text. It's not explicit. So number 5, find 1 piece of evidence that supports the idea that targets do not deserve to be bullied. So we need to find a sentence in this article that shows that targets don't deserve to be bullied. And if we skim, and that's if we skim, I'm going to skim back through the introduction because this is where they define it. A bully usually will pick on a peer. The target or the person who is bullied typically does nothing to invite the bullying. Well, if you're not asking for it, that's what that means. You certainly don't deserve to be bullied. Okay, they didn't do anything to deserve to be bullied. They weren't asking for it. So I think that would probably be the best example of evidence for this inferential one. So the target or the person who is bullied typically does nothing to invite the bullying. And we're going to go ahead and label that number 5. Okay. Number 6, find one piece of evidence that supports the idea that online bullying can be even more damaging to a target than playground bullying. All right, so let's go back. Let's skim through. So this was the experts. I'm looking for online bullying. I'm looking for where in the text that was discussed. I'm skimming. Oh, here it is. It says bullying online is a big problem. 20 years ago, a prank on a student may go unnoticed by many. Today, however, a prank posted to social media can travel far and wide in a matter of seconds. I think from where it says 20 years ago, that's where we need to start this evidence, because it talks about playground bullying, and years ago, that's all, that was mainly how bullies worked, were on playgrounds. But now we have social media and all sorts of other tools for bullies to use. And I would highlight that all the way down to the back of the article to a matter of seconds. And then I'm going to label that number 6 in the margin. Okay. All right, going back to number 7. Find one piece of evidence that supports the idea that it may be hard to stop a bullying behavior in high school. All right, so I'm going to be skimming and scanning for high school. Let's see, I'm going to go to the second page and just keep skimming. Well, it doesn't say high school, but at the end of this section, on the expert section, it says, he explains that bullying and being bullied are both learned. Behaviors are more elastic. That means you can change them. Like a rubber band, you can stretch it and you can change it. Oh, there's my cuckoo clock. You hear it? 10 o'clock, Friday morning. This is the day that you are home for asynchronous day. I'm working hard. Okay, so I'm going to say this: as they age, kids become more set in their ways. That's why we need to be proactive early. I think that's what they're saying, is we can stop bullying behavior when kids are younger, but as they get older, it's a habit, and you can't change it as easily or at all. So we're going to highlight behaviors are more elastic when kids are younger, all the way to the end of that paragraph. And that's going to be number 7. That's why it's important for us to talk about it in middle school so that we can change it and make the world a better place. Number 8. All right, we're almost done. I'm sorry, that was number 7. My bad. Number 7. Now we're on to number 8. Number 8 says, find 2 details from the article that support this statement. Being a target of bullying can have lifelong effects. Okay, lifelong effects. So remember where I highlighted another number when I said you could have 2 number 3s? Well, I'm going to go ahead and take this one and make this number 8. If you labeled it number 3, you can keep the 3, and you could just put 3, 8 if you wanted to use that as your number 3. I'm just going to name that number 8, but we need to find one more that shows, remember, we're looking for it can have lifelong effects. So adults who were once bullied have poor self-confidence later in life. I think the second sentence here also would be a really good example of lifelong effects, because it talks about how adults are still dealing with bullying. Whoops. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. There we go. Lifelong effects. So they're talking about adults. I think that's a really good example. So this is going to be my 8B, 8A, 8B, just like Tiaria taught me. So we're going to have another text box. This will be 8B, and then the first one I'm going to label 8A to show that those are two different pieces of evidence. All right, let me make that a little bit bigger. Okay, that's fine. So you should have 10 different pieces of evidence. I know there's only 8 listed, but 2 of them asked you for 2 details. So you should have 10 different numbers and pieces of evidence. So double check your paper, and then I want you to raise your hand and call me over so I can see your highlights and collect your paper, and you're done with evidence for today.